Hi everybody, Shannon and Karen with Wandering at Yonder. Today, one of the things that we wanted to talk to you guys about, and the reason we wanted to do the video, is to talk to you guys about recovery shoes. Now, what we mean by that is what you do after you hike. How do you recover? One of the things we've been working on pretty hard with ourselves is our own personal well-being. We've been through some back injuries. I have a bad knee, blah, blah, blah. I'm just getting older.
Yeah, and my knee has actually started bothering me lately. Things just aren't working the way that they used to.
We have been really looking at making sure that we have good shoes to wear, that we are treating our bodies well. Well, when you're finished with a hike, I don't know about you guys, but my feet swell up so big. And I think Shannon's do too. So we decided that we would try out wearing what are called revive or recovery shoes after we hike. And we both discovered that we both really like them.
Well, it took me a while. I actually was not a believer at the beginning. And then I hurt my back. So I guess we'll walk and talk and we'll get into that story. All right, so Karen has been a fan of the recovery shoes for much longer than me. She started wearing them, probably about
a year before you did.
Yeah, so probably about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Last year we both had back injuries. As you know, Karen hurt her back. She actually wound up in the ER, and she was out of commission for a while. So we had to build back up through that. Long story short, I wound up hurting my back. And I knew that she had been uncomfortable, but oh my, I had no idea how uncomfortable she was. Mine was to the point where it was so bad I could not even stand up to get out of bed without probably the worst pain that I've ever felt shooting up through my back. And Karen kept suggesting that I wear her recovery sandals. And I was like, no, I'm not wearing your shoes because I'm stubborn. And a lot of the times I don't listen to her. But I was desperate. I couldn't move on my own. It was terrible. So she gave me her sandals, and I was actually able to put my own weight on my feet on the floor to stand up. So at that point, I admitted that she might be onto something. And I also went and got some recovery shoes.
Okay, so as you heard, Shannon was convinced that I was on a nut job, and
No, that she might be onto something, because I had always just taken my shoes off after hiking, and that was a huge relief. And I would put on my regular sandals, and that felt better. But I had never had a back injury like that before, and that just put it into a whole new ball game. And Karen, unfortunately, had experience with it before I did, so she was onto something.
I'm telling you, I would not hike without doing that every single time. So when I'm finished with the hike, doing anything kind of strenuous, or I've been on my feet all day, I take off my shoes, whatever I'm wearing for the day, if I'm out hiking or whatever, because your feet swell no matter what, if you're at work or you're hiking or wherever. And I put my recovery shoes on, and I use those for walking around as my feet are, I guess, starting to relax and feel better. So again, as you heard from Shannon, she was convinced after I talked her into it that to try on my recovery shoes. They're called Revive shoes, the ones that I have. And it did improve her back condition, that she was able to get up and move around.
It was merely the shock absorption.
Right.
Like, and I didn't realize that that's all it would take to prevent that pain shooting up my back.
So, I mean, it was a no-brainer for me, because after I hurt my back last year, it was actually about a year ago that I did that. The first thing I did was I had to get new shoes. I had to get something that could absorb the shock from me constantly pounding as I'm hiking miles and miles and miles out in the woods.
And we live in Pennsylvania. We are constantly pounding on rocks on
yep.
the trails.
That's why they call it Rocksylvania.
So,
but anyhow, so I knew that was probably the next thing that I was going to have to do, because I discovered for myself personally that even walking around my home, I have hardwood floors in my home, it was hurting my back. And I never thought about it before, but it was the impact of me hitting that floor, and it was, going up my spine. So I bought myself a pair of recovery shoes, and it was just like a miracle for me. I mean, I was able to walk around without my back killing me.
And after what I had experienced, and I mean, Karen, might as well have forced my feet into clouds that day, because it made the difference of me being able to get out of bed and stand on my own. It was amazing.
So we both have, I have two different kinds of recovery shoes. I have a pair of sandals that I use.
We both do.
And we're trying out another pair, and you guys will be seeing them later on in the video. We're going to share those with you, and we're kind of testing those to see how those work for us. But anyhow, we did want to talk to you guys about recovery shoes and recovering your feet after long hikes and so forth. There's a guy on YouTube that I watch, or have watched in the past, and one of the things that he does is he stops and he takes a break. When he stops to take a break on the trail, like he'll hike like 10 miles, he stops, he takes his shoes off, and that's the reason that he does it, is so his feet can recover. And I never thought about it until I started going through my own issues, why he did that. Now I understand it. But anyhow,
and it's one of those topics, like, you can look online, and there are pros and there are cons, and we just thought we would take a moment here and share our own personal experiences. And you know, when we get back to the van, we'll show you what we're using around camp, because we also have some that we're using around camp. So to wear them or not to wear them, that's entirely up to you, but
I would highly recommend wearing them.
We're sold on them. Yep. All right, guys, so we're back at camp. We just got done hiking. It is hot.
Very.
There's no doubt that our feet are swollen. So these are what we're going to be trying out. We're hoping that these are going to work also as camp shoes, because they're easy slide on, slide off, great for being able to take off outside of the van before we get up in the van, tracking dirt in and out. So we each have a pair of the Fitville recovery shoes. Again, recovery shoes, they may not be for everybody. Karen and I are kind of sold on them, just to give your feet a break. So there you go. That's our take on recovery shoes, and I guess we'll see you guys later.
Yep.